You have been the one for me.
Wow. Literally shivers. I'm getting goosebumps. There's goosebumps on my arms. That's what you want to do to your audience. 11 years later, listening to it on a recording to give them goosebumps. That's incredible.
You have been the one for me.
Man, he's got me tear up. In this performance, he looks like he's on the brink of tears. It's so intense, the way he sings, his facial expressions, just everything. He puts his whole body and soul into the performance. It's incredible.
Run, run, lost boy, they say to me. Yes, I saw you were blinded, and I knew I had one.
So it's so crazy that this was 11 years ago. You know, it feels like this song came out a few years ago. His voice sounds really good. It's got this really nice husky quality to it without being overly thick. So his voice has a very lyric tenor quality to it. It's definitely not one of the thicker voices that you hear, but it's got this huskiness to it. So far, it sounds very close to the original. If you want to see an uncut version of this video, check out the link in the description.
Took your soul out into the night.
Another thing I love is his use of dynamics. So he'll come to a very loud part and then very quiet, whisper it, and then get really loud again and then come back to a whisper. And this kind of, it lulls you into this really amazing, intense experience. I love it.
I know your smell. I've been addicted to you.
I mean, if I want to get really technical, there's definitely a lack of support there in his upper notes. But, oh man, he just captures the emotion so well that it sounds petty to like get into the specifics of, you know, doing this right, doing that wrong. He's capturing a moment here, an emotion that is so intense. If you're interested in getting a free lesson with me, please check out the link right here.
You have been the one. You have been the one for me.
So you could definitely hear that there's spots where he's struggling a little bit, and it almost feeds into the overall emotional feel of the song. Because without some sort of struggle, and if it was 100% perfect vocally, it would lose a little bit of that raw aspect that you're hearing here.
Remember us and all we used to be.
And I think he has such an expressive face. He puts on, it's not even an act, it's real. It's like he really feels the song when he sings. He leaves his heart on the stage every single time. And it can move one to tears. Like, it's so intense.
True, I cannot live without you. Goodbye.
And you can definitely hear his technique taking over for the spots where a lesser singer, a singer that isn't as technically advanced as James Blunt is, would be falling apart. His voice would be falling apart because emotion can sometimes work with our technique, but a lot of times it can work against our technique. And so we need to make sure that we have our technique there in place so that when we are singing a song, that we can rely on it to take over most of the subconscious things that we don't want to consciously be aware of. We want to focus mostly on the emotion and the integrity of the song, and that's what he's doing.
You have been the one. You have been the one for me.
Wow. Literally shivers. I'm getting goosebumps. There's goosebumps on my arms. That's what you want to do to your audience. 11 years later, listening to it on a recording to give them goosebumps. That's incredible.
And I will bear my soul into.
And listen to that dynamic process that he moves through there. Starts off, and I, very loud. Will, very soft. Listen to that again.
And I will bear my soul.
So soft.
I'm so hollow. I'm so.
You can tell this is just raw. This is not him worried about whether he's in a mix, whether he's in chest voice, head voice. He is just pure emotion coming through his voice. Wow. So let's check. I think this would be really cool to juxtapose against a much newer performance of the song. Here's Goodbye My Lover from 2 years ago. So let's see what almost a decade does to your voice.
'Cause I saw the end before we'd begun.
So just in that piece already, it almost sounds like his technique got a little bit better. He's getting a much clearer tone. It's a little bit better supported. The first line was a little bit off pitch, but by and large for the overall vocal ability, it sounds like he's gotten better, not worse.
I am here for you, if you'd only care.
And I love how his voice intentionally breaks at specific spots where he wants it to be cracking over the emotion that he's portraying. And so right now, all of that was definitely within his chest voice, but it's less of a husky chest voice than he had before. So either he was touring hard back then and his voice was showing signs of wear, or here he's actually improved his technique.
I know your smell. I've been addicted to you.
But I find it amazing that his vocal tone has remained the same. Still very clear, very lyric tenor, has not changed much at all in that decade. And it's a testament to how he keeps his voice, number one, and obviously his anatomy that is, kept up over time. And also his technique, right? Because your technique can definitely slip if you don't keep it up. And he definitely has based on this.
You have been the one for me. Goodbye, my lover.
It's interesting. I mean, two things. One is that there's no processing on his vocal. There's not even a bit of reverb. It's very, very dry. With a song like this, naturally there's a lot, or not naturally, but within the song, there is a lot of reverb on the vocal. So here it being dry makes it difficult. Number two, these upper notes are getting a little bit difficult for him to sing. It's getting a little bit strained on the top, leading to it to be a little bit flat at certain points. The other thing is the pickup pattern of that microphone. So with every microphone like this one, for example, there is a pattern of where is like the orb of sound that it picks up. Generally you have a cardioid pattern, which means to the sides and around the front of it, it picks up noise, and then back here, nothing. So what I'm hearing here is a very, very tight polar pattern on that microphone, whatever microphone that is. It's very narrow of how much of his voice it picks up. And so he moves a little bit off axis and his voice drops way off, almost like we can't hear it.
No one. You have been the one for me.
And he's got me tear up. In this performance, he looks like he's on the brink of tears. It's so intense, the way he sings, his facial expressions, just everything. He puts his whole body and soul into the performance. It's incredible.
Goodbye, my friend. You have been the one.
Definitely does these soft parts so well. That's a testament to where your voice is at, because if your voice is showing signs of wear and tear, it'll show mostly on the quieter parts where there's not a lot of excess force pushing the vocal cords together. And his voice is definitely showing a nice clean tone here.
Hollow, baby. I'm so hollow.
It's crazy. He's like looking directly at specific members of the audience and really letting his message like just reach every single one of them. And you can see how he specifically looks at members of the audience and is singing it to them.
I'm so hollow.
Wish I could have been there for that performance. That's incredible. So I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, please hit the like button down below. If you want to see more videos like this, check out that one right there. You're gonna like it.